let's see what this dude has to say. Let me stop the background music. Actually, I can't be bothered. Let's just keep it going. All right. You should hear everything. Apparently, another Xbox game better on PS5. I mean, that's obvious. Well, not better on PS5. It's better on the Pro. But anyway, let's see what they say.
Dreamcast guy here, and today we're talking about Indiana Jones because this came out last year. It was, in my opinion, is one of the best Xbox games we've gotten this entire generation. It's fantastic. It's fun. It's adventurous. It's got crazy side quests and world building. I don't even like the Indiana Jones movies that much. This is the game where...
How can you not like the Indiana Jones movies? Come on. Everyone in my chat can truthfully say that they love the Indiana Jones movies. And if they say they don't, they absolutely hate Gears of War. So clearly everyone is going to say that they love Indiana Jones.
Where it is so fun, it made me appreciate the character of Indy more. I mean, that's how legit good it is. Well, they just announced the PlayStation 5 release date, but that's not all. It's going to be better on the PlayStation 5, and that feels weird. I am definitely buying it a second time, but...
It's also better on my PC. In fact, it's... What do you mean? Oh, so what you're saying, Steve, is that it's Gears of War's crap. Okay, I get it. The three Indiana classic movies are goated. Exactly, Woodpit. Exactly. But, I mean, the best place to play Indiana Jones is on PC. I mean, if anyone has seen this game running with path tracing, that is the... Literally, this is the first game that I've seen that has made me want to get, you know, a really high-end 4090, 5080, 5090 graphics card. This game with path tracing looks absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful. Like, I know people often say it doesn't make that big of a difference and people don't care. Believe me, on this game, it makes the world of difference.
Let's take a look at the goods, the bads, and their reactions to it, because it does feel like a lot of PlayStation people that originally were saying, oh, the game doesn't look that good, a lot of people seem to be celebrating this PS5 release date. Let's get into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already.
See, I've never understood that, right? Let people watch the content, maybe halfway through, ask for a like or subscribe to your content. You know, give people a reason before they say it. I usually put mine towards the end, but I think the middle is the perfect spot. If they've made it to the middle of the video, they're probably going to make it to the end. At that point, it's a good place to remind them that, you know, subscribing will help your channel. Because people often forget to do it. But doing it at the beginning, statistically, it actually puts people off.
So, Bethesda's been teasing this with some pictures and videos and stuff. So here it is. It was actually just announced a minute ago with a short little video of Nolan North and Troy Baker kind of talking about the game and the active adventuring. A lot of the replies, though, are saying, this is ridiculous. Where is Elder Scrolls 6? People are making jokes about Elder Scrolls 6 a lot in the comments, but it does feel like...
Hey, I've got that collector's edition. Literally that collector's edition. I don't have the controller, though. I wish I could buy that controller. I really want that controller, but I don't have it. But the globe is pretty cool, and you've got like a magnetic clip with the airplane that unlocks it. You've got the artifact as well, which has the code on the back. The metal case is really nice. It basically just has the artifact inside it. But yeah, I really want that controller. I wish, you know, the design lab actually sold it, but they don't, which is a real shame, because they don't even sell, you know, the actual leather style text front plate on it. They just don't do it. It's almost like Microsoft doesn't like money. Like, why not offer that design and just, if people want to, let them buy it? It's so weird. But this dude is like my hero, right? He's got like a whole Batcave of Indiana Jones. I wish I could have something like that. I don't have the room for it, and my wife would definitely not let me have something like that in my house. Not in the sitting room, anyway.
The Indiana Jones fans are absolutely thrilled. This is the special collector's edition of it. I like this guy's room. This dude is definitely an Indiana Jones mega fan. But this is the short and sweet of it. I got to admit, it is very bizarre to see the official PlayStation Twitter account talking about an Xbox exclusive, but this is just the current age. Here it is, April 17th, 2025. So what is that?
I don't get that either, right? We've seen a lot of Xbox games now go over Forza Horizon, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, and there's, a bunch of others are going as well. It's not weird anymore. I think the first couple, like when Doom got announced, that was a bit weird. When Indiana Jones first got announced, that was a little bit weird. But now I think it's starting to become the norm, and I think more people just don't care. The point I'm making is it's only PlayStation fans now that think it's weird. I think everyone else that's around outside of that PlayStation bubble have just moved on and said, you know what, this is what Microsoft are doing. We're getting the games they want on Game Pass. Happy days. Moving on. It's really weird how they still try to get that reaction, that trigger, and I don't know. I think it's really sad.
Exactly 3 weeks from when I'm recording this video, I want to take a look at the replies. Yeah, Big W, just a reminder, Phil
Steve
Spencer
can put that poll
originally
up.
said it'll just be 4 games going from Xbox to PlayStation 5. Amazing game. Happy birthday, Bloodborne. Oh yeah, this is the 10th anniversary of Bloodborne. I mean, it'd be nice if PlayStation acknowledged that, but I guess we're just not going to do that. I'll be buying both this and Forza Horizon 5 to show Microsoft needs to continue putting their games on PlayStation. Can't wait for Halo and Gears of War next. So, this does feel like that big change. We've known for the fact that every Xbox game is going to PlayStation, but the thing I'm curious about the most is that this game, we don't know how well it sold on Xbox, but it doesn't seem like it exactly burned up the sales charts. Some people bought it, but even the people that did buy it, it seemed like they mostly played it on Game Pass. That makes sense.
The problem with Indiana Jones, when it dropped at the same time as Path of Exiles 2. And Path of Exiles 2 broke the internet for PC gamers. They just weren't going to play Indiana. And I know I've raised this time and time again, multiple times in fact, where releasing your game at the right time is really important. And, Ubisoft saw this with their release of Assassin's Creed Shadows. By releasing it in March where it's not crowded, they actually got a really good turnout. It's really unfortunate for, Machine Games that when they released this on, when it first came out on PC and Xbox, Path of Exiles dropped at the same time. And honestly, I think it would have sold way better than it did on PC if Path of Exiles hadn't dropped. But everyone on PC was playing Path of Exiles. That was like the game for the time, and no one was playing anything else. It's it pretty much got the Horizon Elden Ring treatment, which is a shame. I think that really hurt it. I bought the collector's edition, but it could have done so much better.
The whole idea of Xbox Now is that it's not about just straight up buying discs. It's about, hey, subscribe to the service, even when there isn't.
What's really interesting right now is that all those people that are crying that if there's no physical, I'm not buying it, yet the game is still #1 pre-ordered game on PlayStation right now, so clearly... And there's no physical for this, by the way. The disc doesn't work inside the box. You get a disc, but it doesn't boot the game. You need to connect to the internet to download the rest of the game. Microsoft didn't put the whole game on the disc. They could have, but they didn't.
another game coming out. They subscribe to the service. So it is going to be interesting to me how well this ends up selling on the PlayStation 5. I mean, it seems like they're not really doing that much marketing. I mean, a tweet 3 weeks before launch, a bit strange, but here's the other part of it. There are, on some browsers, they have the actual little label that says PS5 Pro Enhanced. Now, to be clear, Indiana Jones is already a very good-looking game. I think it has some...
It's a stunning looking game. Even on Xbox, it looks really nice. Of course, running on that 4090 with path tracing, chef's kiss. Like I said, this is the first game that I've seen that's made me genuinely want to buy a 4090. That path tracing, it's something else, man. I know people are talking about ray tracing right now, and they're really excited for ray tracing, but path tracing is on another level. And yes, it makes a difference, and yes, it makes the games look way better, and yes, in my opinion, it's worth the investment. If you are an enthusiast that wants the best of the best, it's worth the investment. I just can't afford it. So I am going to go and pimp my kidney out. It was a joke. I'm not going to do that. You can stop buffering.
Some of the most realistic worlds. It's got really full maps. It's got cool little side quests. It's essentially, if you haven't played the game, honestly, you definitely need to buy it on PC, Xbox, on PlayStation 5. But the way it worked is that there were multiple big quest hubs. And on those hubs, you could kind of go in any direction and do side quests and find collectibles and stuff until you get to the main story that lets you progress to the next area. Really damn good game. My God, there's a reason I put it in my top 10 best games of the year. But I want to see if they'll fully implement the new PS5 Pro technology. A bunch of videos and stuff have made this year about how the PS5 Pro is actually really, really, really damn good at just making shadow effects, about pumping up frame rate, about making it extra high resolution. I want to see if Microsoft is using that technology to really make the best version of their games on the PlayStation.
No, because PlayStation 5 Pro cannot do path tracing. PlayStation 5 Pro cannot compare, as much as J-Dub wants it to a 4090. It cannot compete with PC. End of story. No matter how much you want to say this, no matter how much you want to think that it can, no matter how much you believe monologuely that the PS5 Pro can compete with the best of the best PCs, it cannot. And therefore, it's not going to give you the best experience. Devastator, wasn't Indiana Jones best-selling in December? I'm actually not sure. I know it didn't do hot on Steam. So I don't know if it did well on the Xbox store, but I think it only had like 12,000 concurrent players on Steam, which wasn't that great. It got really, really hampered by Path of Exiles 2. But Pro has been 5070. No, 5070 is nowhere near a 4090.
It is interesting to think about the fact that Forza is coming out 2 weeks after that, so maybe some of the most hyped, talked about games in April are not going to be Xbox games on Xbox. They're going to be Xbox games on PS5. A bit strange, but the final thing I want to talk about is, in my opinion, the biggest L of this. So this is the collector's edition we had on the original Xbox, right?
And there on the top right, the Order of the Giants is the name of the DLC. I'm guessing that DLC name is subject to change. That Adventure Journal is kind of cool. The artifact piece is really nice. It's, the fact that they gave you the name the All-Maker Relic is a bit of a story giveaway. It's a bit of a spoiler. But yeah, I don't think I actually used the Temple of Doom outfit. I kind of preferred the in-game stuff. The outfits and stuff just kind of felt not really right, but the jumbo steelbox case is pretty cool. I really like that, and obviously you've got the relic inside that box. The book is inside the actual world globe. It lifts up. And inside that PS5 box is a disc that has half a game. So much for people wanting the physicals.
So we already knew this. This is the special deluxe edition. You can buy it. It comes with a globe. You can pay for the special digital edition that gives you 2-day early access, that kind of stuff. But if you read the fine print, which honestly, this picture, you can't see it. It's so teeny tiny. But if you zoom in down here, it says that the disc doesn't really have anything on it. Like, it does, but it's basically an install key. Internet connection required to download the game and content. It straight up says that. It is straight up just saying, hey, you'll be able to play it offline after you've bought it, after you've installed it. But I am annoyed about any time a company sells you a game now that has, do I have a physical game? Here we have a physical game. Anytime a company sells you a disc that doesn't work without an internet connection, then the disc is fake. It might as well just be a coupon code, because at that point, the disc is just for show. I hate the fact that everybody does this here and there, but I do feel like Xbox has been by far the worst culprit. I don't think Redfall was digital only, and now...
Look, Xbox has been going full digital for a long time. They've gone down this trajectory for ages. You know, that's a perfect freeze frame as well, by the way. But to think that they're not actually going to go down this route for PlayStation as well, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Did you think that they were going to give you special treatment? They don't want to do physicals anymore. They lose money. They lose money, so they don't want to do it anymore. They want you to go digital so they make more money.
I guess that game's dead. The studio's dead. Same with Hi-Fi Rush digital only. So many of these games, even if you are a collector, even if you are a lover of it, it sucks that the box on the shelf is essentially just a ticking time bomb. It is.
Youch. Guy. I don't even know what to say to that.
Weird to think about the fact that as we get closer and closer to this all digital future, so many games like Indiana Jones will only exist as long as Microsoft cares to keep the servers light, to keep the downloads available. This has been soft. A couple thoughts. To be honest,
Devastator, Dragon Age the Veilguard hit like 70, 80k, right? Assassin's Creed hit 60k. So that's not entirely true. Like I said, I just think of Indiana Jones. There's two things that, you know, with Indiana Jones. Number one, my generation loves Indiana Jones. I know who he is. I grew up with Indiana Jones, and that's fine. But my kids couldn't give a rat's monkey's ass about Indiana Jones. You know, they just said they've got no interest. There's no nostalgia there. This game was really created for my generation. For people who grew up with Indiana Jones. And if you play the game, there are so many quips in there and one-liners. And, you know, Troy Baker does a fantastic job. Like, phenomenal job in recreating Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones, right? He does an unbelievable job in getting all the quirks right. But the younger generation won't get it. And to them, it's just another game. You know, this game, if it was called anything else, may not have even appealed to me. But being Indiana Jones, I love Indiana Jones. So I was going to buy this regardless of what it was, which is why I got the collector's edition. You know, I'm a huge fan. It's a phenomenal game. But people of the younger generation just won't be interested because it's Indiana Jones. It's just unfortunate, but it had a lot going against it. And then with the release of Path of Exiles at the same time on PC, Path of Exiles 2 Early Access, that really stuck a stake in it. Devastator says, Alex says Steam concurrent isn't a good indicator of sales for single player games. Some with most Steam, I mean, you look at the concurrent users and you multiply that generally by about 5. And that gives you a rough indication, or maybe a little more, That gives you a rough indication of how many it sold.
I'm definitely buying this game a second time. I may just re-review it.
But thank you
just
for
as an
that $5
excuse to
super
beat the
chat.
damn game again. I loved it on Xbox. I'm probably gonna platinum it on PlayStation 5, and I'm super curious how it looks on the PlayStation 5 Pro. But how do you feel about Indiana Jones? And have you already played it? I guess that's a real.
I mean, for me, it was my game of the year, through and through. I loved Indiana Jones, and it was my game of the year. The previous year, it was Alan Wake 2. But yeah, last year for me, Indiana Jones, hands down, was the best game I played all year. It was just phenomenal. Apparently, that Disney demanding more games was false, was fake news. Whether, I don't know how true that is or not, but apparently it was fake news. Damn, what is that facial expression? Can't I freeze frame without him looking weird?
Real question. Have you tried the Great Circle, and are you, like me, going to be a crazy person and double dip?
No. No. Because I've played it on the best platform that you could possibly play this on. I played it on Xbox and I played it on my PC. And unless the PS5 Pro is going to outperform my 3090 Ti, it's just not going to give me a better experience at 60 FPS. Not a bad video. Not a bad video, I must admit. Definitely not a bad video. I think, hey, if he wants to double dip and give Microsoft more money, all the better, right?